I know I'm not alone in it, but wow, the last 2 years have kicked my butt. Don't get me wrong, a lot of amazing things happened, but a lot of terrible things also happened not only to me, but to the entire world. In those 2 years, I've simultaneously built a six-figure business and also sacrificed my health in a totally different way than I did pre-COVID. In 2019, I was in the best physical shape of my life. I had great muscle definition, a low body fat percentage, and overall excellent muscular and aerobic endurance from teaching and taking class so much. But my health was suffering. I had a cold every other month, countless muscle pulls, vocal nodules, the flu, pneumonia. My throat closed up from overdosing on ibuprofen for 2 weeks to help alleviate symptoms of sickness, and I ended up in the ER. And what was this from? Pushing myself too hard with work. I rarely had a full day off during a month, let alone a year. I was constantly working 16-hour workdays and 5 different jobs, commuting between 3 boroughs a day, teaching 25 plus classes per week, and averaging 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. I hate to say it, but March 2020 was exactly what I needed. My voice healed, my body healed, and I could finally rest. Now, on the flip side, 2020 was a devastatingly sad year for many reasons. I lost all of my jobs, my cousin was killed by a reckless driver, and not to mention the looming fear of living in the epicenter of a global pandemic. While all of our friends slowly moved away, we stayed in New York City. Where else would we go? We could afford rent and slowly started piecing together our own side hustles. It allowed us freedom we had never had before. Freedom to go on long walks in our neighborhood, exploring our dream buildings, freedom to rent a car and go hang outside at our friend's pool, freedom to stop killing ourselves for way too little money. And even though it took a lot away, I'm really grateful for what 2020 gifted me. At the end of that year, I decided to start the Fit Club. It was so much work, but it was mine, and I was and am really proud of it. But this, along with expanding my private clients, committed me to a much more rigid schedule again. And throughout 2021, I started feeling like more and more of a fraud because although I was helping so many people get connected to their health, I was losing mine all over again in a totally different way. I was no longer hitting 25,000 steps a day like in 2019. Hell, I was lucky to hit 5,000 steps a day for most of the year. I was still eating like I was that insanely active individual. I was skipping workouts of my own to get ahead on editing, and I'm not happy to say it, but I was definitely leaning on alcohol as a crutch to relax at the end of the night. All habits that essentially put me into a caloric surplus, which ends in gaining fat. Now, do I think I'm in a drastically different body than 2019? No. But I do feel it. I feel slower, foggier, sleepier, and that's my big why. It's not that I want to get back to 2019 Justina because she was a hot mess in her own right. I want to simply grow healthier habits from here. So this video is my 3-month memoir of consistency and dedication, something I preach about and explain day in and day out, but have lost my connection to over the past year. Enjoy. Hello. Just wanted to pop on at the beginning of whatever this video turns into being. So it's currently January 3rd, so 3 days to the new year. And I'm feeling really motivated. I'm feeling really determined, and I feel like I have a good plan. I'm sure I explained everything of how I'm feeling in a very dramatic intro. I did want to show you how I'm tracking my progress to make sure that I'm really building upon these habits. This tracker is kind of like a very intense version of what I use with a lot of my nutrition clients. So let's look at it. Okay, so here's my little tracking sheet. I'm just gonna blur out the calories because no one needs to know that. So the things that I'm really focusing on are Monday through Friday, tracking my calories. I know it's very controversial, which it shouldn't be. I think that if you can handle it, you should do it, at least to understand the exact amount of energy that you are taking in. And I want to be in a cut right now. So I just want to make sure that I know what that cut is so that then I can take away the tracking on most days and just do it intuitively. Protein, I'm trying to aim this month on average, which I don't think I'm going to have too much of an issue with. Speaking of protein, was that a terrible transition? I want to quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, Gainful. So I partnered with Gainful a few times on my channel before because I absolutely love what they stand for. Gainful is a company that sells personalized supplements, and my absolute favorite is their protein powder. So all you have to do is go onto their website, take a short quiz answering some questions about yourself and your goals, and then they come up with your very own personalized protein powder. So with my goals of wanting to increase my protein, they sent me a protein powder with 25 grams of protein, which is on the higher end for a protein powder. Now their protein is unflavored, so if you'd like to add a flavoring to it, they also sell flavor sticks. I personally love the protein sticks because it gives you the versatility to change the flavor of your protein powder day to day based on how you're feeling. And because the protein is unflavored, it gives you the option to add it into things like baking and oatmeal and smoothies without changing the entire flavor, texture, profile, that's the word I was looking for, of whatever you're making. So if you would like to get 40% off your first month of Gainful, make sure you use my code and link down in the description box below. But let's get back to the video. Steps. I'm aiming for 10,000 on average a day. That's gonna be a bit of a challenge because it is very cold out now, but I think we're gonna be okay. I want to work out for myself 4 times a week. One of those days will be cardio. Okay, you're gonna think I'm so gross that I don't already do this enough, but I need to be more consistent with my flossing. Dental stuff really freaks me out. I personally think that a huge part of that is because I never had any dental issues growing up. I never had braces. I've never had a cavity. So I think that it's like more of like the fear of the unknown. So even flossing like freaks me out. And I was very good about it for a few years, and then I just like fell off the bandwagon. So for this month, to make it achievable, 5 times a week. I know you're probably like, that's disgusting, but I don't want to say 7 times a week and then like miss one day and feel really shitty about myself. So, and then my skincare. I just get like very weeble wobbly with this. I don't know if that's the way to describe it, but making sure that I do my skincare in the morning and skincare at night. So then down here, I have like my goal. And then I've basically just put in like formulas. You can see up here to like, it'll just take everything and I'm dividing it by 31 days. So at the end, I think so, it's gonna tell me if I on average hit at least 10,000 steps a day. I'll let you know on day 31 if that actually worked. Anyway, you'll probably hear from me again in like a month for a little update, but I'm feeling good, period. Yeah, we're just like putting our head down, doing the thing, trust the process. Joel Embiid, thank you. February. All right, let's do a little update. I basically just want to run through all of the things that I focused on in month 1, what happened, kind of go through the data, and yeah. So overall, I am feeling really good, like really, really good. Every goal that I set myself was really sustainable. I pretty much nailed everything. We're gonna talk about what I didn't nail in a second, and then what I'm going to swap out for February and just like the plan going forward. So again, I'm not gonna be sharing any of my like food intake numbers because I don't think it's helpful for anybody, and I don't want any room for a comparison here. So just as a reminder, I only tracked Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday I just took off, and it's not like I went like balls to the walls, but I just ate a little bit more intuitively and really was just thinking of like building balanced plates. I will say I don't think that I always did that during the weekends. Like I gravitated more toward carb heavy things, which is fine. But again, if we're thinking of the end goal being to not track anymore, we want to be able to still get in those nice balanced meals of a protein, fat, carb, and vegetable or micronutrient source. So I think that's something I can do a little bit better at next month. That being said, with my calorie goal, Monday through Friday, my average, it was a little bit lower than I wanted it to be. So I set a number, and that was like, whenever I set for a number, especially for a cut, that's your bare minimum. Like you want to hit that. You really don't want to go under. And there's two reasons that I think are really important. Number one, you don't want to eat too low because then your metabolism is running the risk of adapting to that, right? Number two, I don't think it's a super healthy mindset, especially for someone like me who used to try and eat as little as possible. So I don't want to reward myself for not eating what my goal is, right? Like, the goal isn't to max hit that number, it's to minimum hit that number. So that's something I think I can be better at next month. But that being said, do I think that I stuck to that number on the weekends? Sometimes, but not always. So if I did track on the weekends, I would have to guess that I did average what my cut was. So I'm not super concerned about it. I also, like, mindset wise, I'm not trying to eat less than that number. What's actually happening is that a lot of times during the day, I don't eat breakfast right away, and then I just kind of like forget, and then I'm just kind of like behind on my calories for the day. So I need to do a better job of stopping what I'm doing and eating breakfast or prepping breakfast the night before. So that's what I'm gonna focus on for the next month. As far as protein, I hit that goal. I was like 3 grams on average over my goal. I'm gonna keep it about the same. I'm gonna raise it up by 5 grams. Part of that is because I know that on weekends I do not prioritize protein, so I wanna push myself a little bit more during the week to kind of, again, even that out. Okay, now we can talk about numbers that I can show you. Steps. Okay, you can see I was so close. I was doing really well, hitting my 70K each week, if not a little bit more. And then last Wednesday, I was taking a workout class and I hurt my back. It's 6 days later and I'm feeling like 97% better, which is fantastic. And the reason for that is because I rested. All that being said, when I say rest, I don't mean like, oh, I'm not gonna work out, but I'm gonna make sure I hit my 10K. No, I was like pretty immobile. Like, getting up and off the floor was very difficult. So unfortunately, last week, my step count was like 47,000 for the week, which hurt my heart, not gonna lie. I was very disappointed in myself, but here's the thing, and this is a really good lesson. Recovery is so important. It's so important. If you're pushing yourself past the limits, it's not even worth getting toward your goal, right? Because if I had pushed myself to hit my 70K, I probably wouldn't be feeling 97% better right now. I'd probably be feeling like 50% better. It was worth the hit because I recovered a lot faster, and look, this number is still so close to what my goal was, which is fantastic. Just because you can't check everything off the list as a win does not mean that you failed. It is not black and white. Always remember that failure is not failure. Failure is just feedback. And my feedback was, I hurt my back because I'm old. So next month I'm gonna keep the goal at 10,000. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, I didn't hit it this month. We know why, but I didn't hit it. Number two, it wasn't easy to hit that 70K a week. Like, it took thought, it took effort. I work right here. So it was a lot of, you know, going on my walks and doing some walking workouts, and I had to be really, really conscious of it. Anyway, I'm gonna keep it at 10 and we're gonna crush it next month. Workouts. Okay, to revisit it, my goal was 4 workouts for myself a week. So on Mondays, I do my cardio. So that is my dance cardio class, but I do the whole thing and it's cardio, and then I'm taking 2 dance classes right after, so that's my cardio day, and then I have to just get in 3 strength workouts on my own a week. It doesn't matter what they are, but I did join a group fitness studio that I love. I've been there before. I used to do personal training there, and it's been like such a huge motivator, so I'm excited for that. And we're gonna keep the goal the same. That's very sustainable, 4 workouts for myself a week, because remember too, like, I am doing other, like, I taught my class this morning, so I'm moving on those other days. Okay, we're getting into the gross goal. Flossing. Gross. So my goal was to floss 20 times, and I hit 22, so I'm very proud of myself. So essentially that goal broke down to 5 times a week, and I could, you know, take those 2 days off whenever. Again, I know it's gross, don't come at me. So next month, I'm gonna make my goal 6 times a week, so that's gonna be, math is hard. Oh, okay, here it is. So I'm gonna make it 6 times a week. a shorter month. I'm losing 2 days at the end of the month because we're gonna be on vacation. So I guess it's just 20 again, but I have less time to do it, if that makes sense. Finally, skincare, crushed it. I did it every single night. This goal was really just like, don't go to bed with your makeup on, Justina. But I actually did do like, you know, my sunscreen and my eye cream, my serum, my moisturizer. I did it every single day. In the morning and at night. So the plan with that goal for next month is that we're actually going to stop tracking it. It didn't feel difficult to do. It felt very natural. So I don't think that I need to be writing it down anymore. So instead, we're gonna swap it out for a water goal. My goal with water is that I wanna get in 8 cups a day. This is 2 cups right in here. I've already had one of them, so this is my second one. So I picked that number because the recommendation for adult women is 12 cups of water a day. Most of us get about 4 of those cups through our food, so that remaining number is 8. I know that a lot of people are into like the gallon of water a day. Personally, I don't think that's for me, but I don't know. We're gonna go with this method. We're gonna see how I do over the month, and we'll kind of report back if I feel like I need more, if I feel like I'm drowning. I mean, this is like the bare minimum, so hopefully I don't feel like I'm drowning. Yeah, that's the goal. All right, so that's our little update. I know that I showed you guys like a piece of all of my movement for this past month. I think this month I'm gonna show you like a meal from each day, just a little snippet. I had the most delicious breakfast this morning, so you'll get to see that in a second. And yeah, I'm not feeling restricted with my food. I think a lot of that is, especially during the week, prioritizing protein. I'm full a lot longer. I'm building really balanced plates. But yeah, so I guess that's the update. So I guess I'm gonna see you in another month.
Bone got a couple cracks on it. Oh well, big boy on the retina. People show and tell. Something spicy in my drink. Do my dance like Channing Tag with a western. She make a boy act dumb. She know she hot. She know she pretty. She's so aware. The steam is so dizzy. I feel I feel petty. I feel gross. I feel messy. Oh my god. Oh no no.
We're going on vacation tomorrow. I'm so excited. So it is just about the end of February. Again, we're leaving tomorrow on the 27th, so we're just gonna like cut the month up here. Before we talk about my progress this month, I wanna kind of rewind because, you know, when I started filming this, I have to be honest, I didn't know what this video was going to be. I was just like, okay, this is something I'm doing for myself and it's relevant to like my channel, so I might as well just film, and then if I feel like there's something of value of it, then I'll put it together and put it on the internet. And if not, I'll just delete all the footage and call it a day. But then once I got started into this, I'm sure you guys have seen, and you've seen my video, that Blogilates, or Cassie Ho, is doing her own 90-day journey to muscle growth. And in the past, she has done her 90-day journey toward fat loss and then sold it, so. I have my opinions, you can watch the video, but you know, my number one complaint was like, none of this is sustainable. And her big why, she said, was to reclaim her, you know, comfort with building muscle on her body, which I think is fantastic. But, you know, the way that she's going about it is incredibly unsustainable and incredibly unrealistic for most people. So I feel like my video is like the real person's 90-day journey to X, Y, and Z. And for me, my big overarching goal right now is fat loss. But I am not expecting at the end of 90 days to have some insane transformation. I'm not treating it as something that I can check off of the list. Really, when you break down like the nitty-gritty, I'm trying to form long-term habits so that my health improves and my performance improves and I just feel better overall. And with that, since I'm documenting it, I want to make sure that I'm serving all of you to the best of my ability. So that means I'm not doing body checks. I am not telling you my macros or my calorie intake. I'm not beating myself up if I don't hit a goal during the month. Because the number one thing here to remember, and we're going to talk about this in a second because it definitely happened this month and the first month, life happens. Life is messy. Life is not this perfectionist Excel sheet that I have set up. There are so many failures that people would say over my last 2 months, but always remember, guys, that failure is just feedback. And a lot of my feedback over the past 2 months has been life freaking happens. You get sick, you get injured, and stuff has to be put on hold. So with that being said, let's jump into the month. So as I already said, I was sick this month, which kind of put a little damper on my commitment, which is totally understandable. It wasn't the illness, even though I thought it was for a hot second, just a good old-fashioned cold, because apparently we can still get those in 2022. So I got sick on Friday, February 11th, which is also why I am missing some data in there. Because here's the thing, I was sick. The only thing I was eating was like soup and goldfish crackers for like 5 days. I wasn't moving because my body needed to recover, and I was just trying to let my body rest and heal so that I could bounce back a lot quicker. So I made the executive decision to not track anything. I didn't really track steps. I didn't track my calories, so I didn't track my protein. A few days in there, I didn't even track my water, because the thing is, I knew that I wasn't gonna hit the numbers that I wanted to see. So why even track it? The reason that I'm tracking data is to figure out what's working and what's not working. Well, if I track that data when I'm sick, I'm already gonna know what's not working. I'm fucking sick. And unfortunately, which is something I forgot about myself, the week before I go on vacation, done. Senioritis, I've checked out, goodbye everybody. Didn't want to do work, didn't want to do workouts, didn't want to eat well, didn't want to abstain from alcohol, like everything. I was just like, peace out everybody. I actually didn't like do that poorly. I tried to rein it in, but it is what it is. So all that being said, my data actually like did better than I thought. As far as calorie intake, we talked about last month how I felt like I wasn't eating quite enough during the week. I just found that I was consistently kind of under my caloric goals. So I really wanted to reframe my mindset of like, that number, even though it's my cut, that's the minimum that I have to hit, not the maximum. And that really helped a lot because I was actually like just about at that on the days that I tracked. And I felt like on the weekends when I wasn't tracking, I wasn't reaching for, you know, the more calorically dense things in overboard like I was last month. So I feel like I achieved a lot more balance there. Unfortunately, my protein, it just suffered this month. Even this past week, you know, even though I was tracking, I like did not have the motivation to really try and get it in. So I was a little bit shy of my goal. So I'm gonna keep the same goal for next month. I wanna make sure that I can really crush that before I increase it another however many grams. My steps this month, okay, when I'm putting in my numbers, like right before picking up the video, I was like, I'm gonna be just shy again. I really want to hit 10,000. Again, remember I did not put in the few days that I was like on the couch. Look at that number, 10,197 on average. Crushed it. Just like I talked about last month again, this wasn't easy, so I'm not gonna increase it. I'm gonna keep it at 10,000 again next month. Let's make it like really achievable before we go up. But I'm really proud of myself and I'm really happy. Workouts, I was very close. My goal was 16. So again, I'm trying to get in 4 of my own workouts outside of my workout classes, except I do count my dance cardio class because I'm doing the whole thing. That's my cardio. 16 workouts, 4 times a week. I hit 13, and a huge part of that is you can see like there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there were 7 days where I couldn't work out because I was sick. And again, that's not the norm. I'm not upset about this by any means. If anything, I'm like, oh, I paid for that unlimited membership and missed out on a whole week. Now I'm going on vacation and I'm missing out on another week, but it's fine. It is what it is. Small business, I'm happy to support. Here's where things get embarrassing. Wah, wah. No! I know how to fix this. Okay, it's not failure, it's feedback. What happened was, when I was sick, I like could barely even brush my teeth without like gagging because I was so congested, and I was just like, I don't want to spend any more time with shit in my mouth. So I didn't really floss then, and then I got so lazy. I got so lazy this past week. And I know how to combat that. Number 1, I will not always be going on vacation or sick. But number 2, I need to stop waiting until right before I go to bed to like brush my teeth, because the issue is that I wait until I am like almost asleep on the couch, and then I'm like, oh right, I have to like brush my teeth, and then I have to floss, and I'll always brush my teeth, but then it's like, I can't rationalize to myself, like, you have 1 more minute of work to do. I'm just like, no, I have to go to bed. So I just, when I'm done eating, just go brush your teeth and floss before it's 10 p.m. and you're exhausted. That's what I'm gonna focus on next month. So I'm keeping that goal about the same. And then water, I suffered this week because I got lazy with it. Again, senioritis. But I did a much better job at this than I thought I would. So my goal was 8 cups a day, and I ended up with, I don't really know how that math worked out, but 8.24. So I crushed it. I found that having something to refill throughout the day not only made it more active, but it also felt a lot less overwhelming than like a giant water bottle. Because I kept feeling like with the giant water bottle, once I got behind, I was like, well, shouldn't even try now, because it like, you know what I mean? Like this feels way more achievable. So I'm very happy that I found something that works. So next month, I'm actually gonna bump up to 9 cups a day because I really feel like looking at my numbers, I was pretty consistent with hitting at least 9. So it was 8, I'm just bumping it up by 1 cup. So I'm very excited about that. Let's talk about this for a second. You can see I wasn't perfect. I had some setbacks in the last 2 months, but I'm talking about these things and I'm like celebrating my wins. And you know, you can totally focus on the things that you didn't achieve, but I just think that working on your health should not be a 90-day challenge. You know, there are challenges you can do in life, but if you're looking to heal a relationship with something, if you're looking to instill some long-term habits, you've got to figure out a way to enjoy it along the way. And if you're just focusing on the things that you didn't do up to the standards that you set for yourself, instead of figuring out why those things didn't work, but also celebrating the things that you did crush. I don't really know where that sentence was going, but I think you get what I'm saying. And then the other thing that I wanted to touch on really quickly, you know, obviously I'm not sharing numbers, I'm not doing body checks with you guys, but I did want to check in just on how I feel, and I feel great. You know, obviously I feel like I have more work to do, and I definitely feel like I have more that I can accomplish, but my sleep is a lot better. My performance and my workouts is a lot better. My endurance is much better when I am doing cardio activities. I definitely have a little bit more muscle tone on my body, which tells me that I have lost some fat. I have not stepped on the scale because I'm not looking for weight loss. I'm looking for fat loss. And you know, your overall body weight takes account for not only your fat, but also, you know, your muscle mass. It takes account for your bones. It takes account for water. If I were to be using my weight on the scale as a measure of progress, it just would not, I don't know, it's not super helpful in my opinion. So instead, I basically get a progress photo every single day because I film my workouts 5 times a week. So I've really gotten to see the muscle definition like start to pop through. So that's been really fun. And then like, if we're just being honest, my clothes fit better. I think I just say all that to express to you guys that there's more than one way to measure your progress, and you don't always need to rely on the scale. Scale is a great tool, just not for me. All right, so we're gonna go on vacation. The next time I see you will be my birthday. My birthday is April Fool's Day. So I actually love it because everyone always remembers my birthday. And I will be 33 years old the next time you see me. I'm feeling good. Let's go. March 31st, meaning tomorrow is April 1st, which is my birthday, and I don't want to be filming on my birthday, so here we are today. So this final recap might not be what you expected. If you expected before and after photos, if you expected to see all of my data at the end. Instead, we're just going to quickly wrap up what focusing on myself for 90 days really taught me. Because honestly, I already started editing the rest of the footage and it is so long that we need to get you out of here. So I have learned that tracking things like calories and protein is a good tool for me that I am able to use, but honestly, after 2 months, I was so sick of writing down everything that I was eating, so I stopped. So I actually did not track any of that for the month of March. And a big part of that is because I don't want to be tracking forever. And I felt like I had a really strong grasp on what my cut number was as far as what I was eating every day, because I don't eat drastically different day to day. Protein was something that maybe I could have benefited benefited from tracking a little bit more of, but then I would have to calculate my calories. So I really just focused on two things. Do I have protein at every meal? And do I feel really hungry by the end of the night? If I could answer yes and then no, then I was good. Workouts, crushing it, didn't feel the need to write it down. I can literally just look at my calendar and go, great, there are 3 workouts and then there's my cardio day. With flossing, I got a lot more consistent with it as far as doing it earlier in the night. So implementing that tactic really helped a lot. With water, I did actually track that for about half the month, mostly just in my Fitbit app, and it looks like I was averaging about 9 cups a day, which is fantastic for me. That is such a big improvement from where I was. And just having like a little cup on my desk to keep refilling during the day, which made it actionable, that really continued to help. Okay, so that was much more concise of a wrap up. Now, here's the big question. What next? Because this is the issue with people and doing challenges. You challenge yourself to stick to something, but you have no exit plan. Things like 75 hard, a 30-day movement challenge, Cassie's 90-day fat loss journey thing that she sells now. What do you do next? So I don't have an answer for any of those things because nothing in those programs are teaching you anything about sustainability. So I made sure that with everything that I was doing, I knew exactly how to transition this back into a normal, sustainable, consistent, really using air quotes, mentality. So the biggest example is that I knew why I was tracking my calories, right? I needed to understand what this certain number felt like because that number was directly related to my fat loss goal. But if I'm thinking longer term than just 90 days where I'm trying to lose some fat, I need to understand what that number feels like so that I'm not tracking for my entire life because that is not sustainable or enjoyable. That sounds terrible. So with that, we're gonna wrap it on up. Hopefully this video ends up being something and that you have little snippets of knowledge to take away from it. Any other Aries babies, let me know down in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and I will see you all in the next one.